Welcome to the channel. Almost a month has passed since the introduction of the most anticipated update of this year, so it's probably the right time to sum up Terra Rifts, and it seems to me that it was supposed to be an extremely good feature. Unfortunately, as it turns out, the majority of the community thinks quite the opposite. Arguably, they do have reasons for that, but perhaps there is still a chance to save this activity, and I would like to show you my vision for that. First of all, I would like to start with things that, in my opinion, are very good. This is the introduction of additional properties to existing skills. New games have such a solutions. They is built in various ways, but additional skill development seems to be standard. That's why I was quite happy to see that Immortal is going this way as well. Although I haven't tested it for other classes, I'll use the example of a Crusader. In this case, the draw and quarter and falling sword skills are quite interesting for me. And here the additional effect for draw and quarters the meta essence simply provides additional damage. It works quite decently for PvP, as well as with other essences for farming. It's a bit different for falling sword, because the additional affix has only a 3-second cooldown. Therefore, using skill essences with a lower cooldown will significantly improve the effectiveness of the new affix, and can bring forgotten essences back to life. As a result, it opens up much more ways to create builds, which for me is definitely a good thing introduced into the game. But I would like to mention that I am sure that Immortal designers are much more talented than just doing new things based on the existing assets, or something more than simple modifiers. That's why I would simply like to see more affixes to skill mechanics in the further updates. Unfortunately, here is the first fundamental problem. I purposely mentioned that skill modifiers are standardized in other games. We can switch between various configurations simply and conveniently. I think this is quite a logical solution, because in order to find the best build we need to test different options. That's why convenient and reversible skill development is necessary without any doubts. For some reason, such a solution does not exist in Immortal. Obtaining skill modifiers is only possible by doing Terra Rifts and dropping eternal legendary items. In its current form, finding an eternal item is just a random fiesta. It has nothing to do with convenient build customization. The game only offers 10 Terra Rifts per week, and they can only be done at certain times, which makes them quite demanding. We have a chance to receive Terra essences, which can be used for Hellslayer bounty, or just use the Terra essence directly. The game will lead us to the Oblivion Pillar. It is basically no different from Hellslayer bounty. I mean, it's very similar in terms of gameplay and rewards. The only noticeable difference is that we don't complete bounties, obviously. These are not particularly difficult activities. Some people have trouble getting enough fragments to activate all SYGIAN spires. Some struggle against bosses, but overall they are more time-consuming and tedious than difficult. And personally, I wouldn't have any problem with that, if not the fact that everything becomes worthless once you get to the next difficulty level. Safe to say that even the best eternal essences will not last long. Whole process just to get a regular skill modifier, a lot of work for such a little profit. That's why the community's disappointment is fully justified. And if it remains as it is, in my humble opinion, people will simply abandon this activity. Another problem is class change. Although changes have been made and now modifiers are changing, but most likely not for the ones you want to, so it does not solve the problem at all. I fully understand that the developers planned to introduce something that would make people playing, but in that case the reward would have to be much more valuable. Otherwise it is just a waste of time. Next thing is that Terror Rifts are very similar to Helltides from Diablo 4. You can really see the inspiration from that event. Why not use the already created solution and modify it for Immortal? Thus we would drop aspects on Rifts and attach them to existing items. This way, old items would be useful as a base for new aspects. Doing Rifts would make sense because we would obtain aspects that could be saved in the codex just like essences. And on top of that, we would have full flexibility customizing our build. The whole process wouldn't have to be any easier if only it were permanently assigned to the codex. After all, we can stack new affixes, so obtaining each new stack may be more difficult, as well as not every old item may have the ability to insert an aspect. This is just my idea, but there are many ways to fix Terror Rifts, and I think making changes would be very welcome. With all that being said, I must admit that I miss the days of Diablo 2, where we could receive truly epic items. It was exhausting but rewarding. I think that's why this game has been played for so long, and didn't bore us despite the lack of updates, because it was a dopamine injector. And this is not. However, in this video I used Blizzard products as examples to prove that they already have working solutions. It's still just my opinion, so the comment section is yours. If you enjoy what I do, go ahead and leave a like, as well as consider subscription to stay up to date. And as always, thanks for watching.